right.
All right, we have the agenda in front, so just seek a motion for the, to approve the agenda as presented. Anybody got any bills? We gotta go motion.
We gotta do the consent.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Just the
Regular.
Or just the regular agenda.
Yeah.
Sorry. Second.
motion by Kelly, second by Derek. All in favor? That is 6-0. So now we'll move into consent agenda.
Abstain from 52241.
Any questions on anything else? That conflict of interest in straightforward. Yeah. I didn't see anything else in there.
I guess the surplus of technology, we're just surplusing them out and they're taking care of
Yes.
deleting our information.
Yes, they are.
Looks straightforward to me.
Do they sign anything for that? Like, it's just curious. Or
They'll
just
send
for
us documentation.
okay, just for information protection. All right, no other, any other bills that we have to worry about? Okay, good. So we'll just look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, motion by Amanda, second by David, all in favor? 6-0. All right, so we're gonna move into old business. The first thing we're gonna talk about is tuition for the preschool.
I had sent over the proposal that
7-0.
I have visited with Dr. Wolf about, but it would be my suggestion, like, for to set it at $400 a month based on need. And so there would be some requirements to be able to apply for free or reduced preschool, but at 9 months, August 1 to April 1. I have some kind of like a guideline that I plan to send out tomorrow or in the next couple of days to these families on how that will look in collecting tuition, but $400 a month would be my suggestion.
Okay. And I guess that second set of numbers would just be if we ended up getting funded.
So yes, there's gonna be some students that we're gonna be able to collect ABA on if they have need, if they don't pay tuition. So you're gonna be able to obviously get more money in that situation. And then the $400 will go away because you'll get more money if you have that MOPPK grant, yes. But I do know, I just talked to them last Thursday, and this is all going through the House and Senate, like, what does it look like for the budget? It's currently being funded. It may be funded at a reduced rate. So there was like ABCD, where will we fall out on being able to priority to claim that grant? We can obviously fill it out. They suggested only fill out the bare minimum of what you're gonna need, so that will increase your priority. So we'll fill it out with the $400. I feel like it's still reasonable if parents do have to pay tuition.
All right, have any discussion about that?
Harry, how's that work in the building with, do we have to give parents like a receipt or something each time they pay that, or?
We will get a receipt or to make sure that we receive that.
Okay. So what happens if they don't pay?
Well, then we become a bill collector.
Okay.
I kind
But
of have
we've got a
handbook kind of
policy.
line of written out of how we're gonna collect it.
Yeah, it'll be in the handbook, like when it's due, there'll be past due penalty fees if you're past due, and if you're too far past due, then,
You're like
Removal
unenrolled.
from the program.
yeah,
And then we'll go to the
Ashley's
next
got it
section.
all written out in
Nice.
a parent handbook.
Kind of run it like lunch money sort of thing. And
Right.
But yeah, I've kind of talked to Leslie about the process that would look like, and she'd be the collection person. And then
You can do a trial during summer school. It's the other way we're supposed to pay them to come to summer school. Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept Ashley's proposal for a $400 a month tuition rate.
Okay, very good. A motion by Kelly,
Second.
second by Derek, all in favor? 7-0. So that gets us into the sporting contracts again. Not sure who's gonna be talking
Well,
about that.
probably Jason, since he's the guy who's here to do it.
I can get that, but me and Dean,
Oh,
we was
great.
talking about that. Dean called the two reps, we visited about it. talk to the programs involved, I'd recommend just go ahead and accept the Game One's contract for that. Coach Duke can still, keep going through BSN, anybody can still contract out for any, uniforms, materials, any kind of equipment they need outside of that. And there's not gonna be any kind of repercussions of signing that. They're not gonna come back on it. We're gonna still get the discount, it's not a discounted rate. People who want to go through Game One can still have access to that stuff, so I recommend going with that one.
Alright, so this has been, I think, on the agenda at least a couple times. So, what sort of discussion do we need to have here to move forward?
I'll make a motion to use Game One.
I'll second.
Alright. All in favor? Yes, that is 7-0. So that gets us out of old business into board reorganization. So I think I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Well, you can read the election results if you'd like to.
Okay.
All right, name your bid.
Yep, I have the election results to read. We'll go county by county. Amanda Pettigrew, 157. Morgan County, 31. Cooper County, 14, for a total of 202. Brittany Wilson, Montauk, 123. Morgan, 24. Cooper, 9, for a total of 156. Stephen Keeling, Montauk, 93. Morgan, 16. Cooper, 4, for a total of 113. Jordan Sanders, Montauk, 109. Morgan, 33. Cooper, 5, for a total of 147. Bob Wolf, Montauk, 196. Morgan, 30. Cooper, 9, with a total of 235. Shelley Higgins, Montauk, 167. Morgan, 33. Cooper, 10. These are final election results. For a total of 210. So, our new board members are Amanda Pettigrew, 202. Bob Wolf with 235, and Shelley Higgins. And I received, like I said, final election results from each county.
All right, very good. Congratulations, everyone. Yeah. I guess we're gonna get to that business here in a minute, but before we do that, we'll have a presentation.
We need a motion to accept that.
Oh, okay. All right, so we'll seek that motion.
We'll make a motion to accept the election results presented by Ms. Hayden.
All right, very good. Motion by Kelly, second by Craig. All in favor? That is
Nathan, raise that.
7-0.
Mr. Kohler, I see you don't have a name.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna replace that with a plaque with
Thank
our
you.
thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate your service and your dedication, and we hate to see you go.
well, maybe you'll come.
All
We'll
right,
get healed up.
okay,
Thank you.
we appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And Craig?
Yep.
Mr. Wolf, thank you for your
That's great.
service.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your dedication and your interest in the students for Tipton, Missouri.
Absolutely.
We hate to see you leave, but take your signature with you.
All right, I need,
I do want to say just real quick, I've served on the board with both these two guys for a long time, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done, and you know your friendship too over the years. I mean, it's been a few different terms.
Yep.
in goodies that you're going to take with
We can stick.
your little.
Please.
She's already been playing.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you, guys.
that.
Thank you, guys.
The only thing I'd like to say before I leave is I'd like to thank current board, past board,
Future.
future board for running. And I'd also like to thank our administrators, teachers, and everybody that works down there. It's the boots on the ground. So, thank you. And keep rolling,
Good luck.
keep rolling.
Right.
So, without further ado, the new guys get sworn in.
Don't be afraid to stop in.
We'll see you, sir.
You don't have to get up. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. See you, man.
Yep.
I'm just praying we were real
I'll
fast.
stop on
by on Wednesday nights if y'all want.
Yep, thank you. Thank you. I'm still coming. You must be here next step. Keep my hot rod.
Craig wants that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks, Craig.
You're welcome. Thanks, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll still have the phone number here. Good luck to you guys. You guys will be great. I'm proud of you. Thank you for running.
I was just gonna say, where's our phone?
But if you need to come up time,
And then if that's-
How soon they
Scoop.
No,
See ya.
you'll hear from me.
Amanda, thank you.
We voted for 3.
Harriet,
Thanks,
big
Don.
thanks for you for filling in.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. So good luck to you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You're up, guys. Come on.
Down to a month.
I'm already getting
Well, they voted to separate the women.
I wondered.
I know, I'm writing it up, I'm like.
Yep, they voted to separate the women.
They put you down here to keep it calm down.
You get to come up here, we gotta swear you in, girl.
I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth.
All right, you ready, repeat, and then after the meeting, I have papers for all three of you to sign, okay? All right, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the school director
discharge the duties of a school director
in and for Tipton R6 School District,
in and for Tipton R6 School District,
County of Montauk,
County of Montauk,
State of Missouri,
State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability according to law.
to the best of my ability according to law.
Thank you very much.
Wow, they did so much better than I did. I was nervous. Thought I was gonna say the wrong thing.
Yeah, sometimes it slips.
Now that our new board members are seated, the floor is now open for nominations. It's time to reorganize the board. So the floor is now open for nominations for president of the board. Are there any nominations? Anybody gonna make a motion to nominate someone?
I make a motion to appoint Brent Updegrove for president.
Is there a second to that
Second.
motion? There was a second?
That David.
Any other motions? All in favor of that motion? Okay. Motion is closed. Are there other nominations for board president?
Did we get 7?
I thought we got, can you raise your hand again?
I think we got 7.
Okay. So are you saying that you want to do this by acclamation and there are no further nominations?
Yes.
Okay, so that means Brent Updegrove is our president of the board by acclamation, 7-0. We now need to accept nominations for vice president of the board. Is there a nomination?
I'll nominate Eric Tuttle for vice president.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Further, So, are there further motions or nominations? Nominations closed. All in favor? One, two, three. Looks like 7-0.
I vote for myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Then I'll
now,
vote.
so we have Brant Uppergrove as our board president. We have Derek Tuttle as our vice president. We now need a nomination for board secretary.
That one's easy. Nominate Miss Amy Stover.
Is there a second?
Second, third, fourth, whatever.
Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. Is there a vote for Amy Stover for board secretary? 7-0. Okay, we now need a nomination for board treasurer.
Nominate Lisa Bixler as board treasurer.
Lisa Bixler, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. All in favor of Lisa Bixler for board treasurer? Again, 7-0. All right, now we need a nomination for an MSBA delegate, and that conference is held in Kansas City this next year on October 22nd through the 24th. So I need a nomination for an MSBA delegate. Anybody want to go to
My
Kansas City?
travels,
got your eye for it, man.
my travel's crazy. I'm not sure I'll be able to go.
That's a newbie job, isn't it?
You have a nomination?
It was when I came on.
I nominate Shelby Higgins.
I was.
Is there a second?
Throw you under the bus already.
I'll
Oh,
second
my
it.
goodness.
There's a second. I have a nomination and a second for Shelley Higgins. Are there any other nominations?
I have to be there already.
You did alternate.
Yeah, I guess I would.
Okay, all in favor of Shelley Higgins as MSBA delegate? 7-0, that nomination passes. And now we need an alternate, a nomination for an alternate. It sounds like Mr. Uppergrove has to be there anyway.
He volunteered.
So would anyone like to nominate?
I'll nominate Brant to the delegate.
All right, and that's the second. All in favor? All right,
The one thing that's not on here, probably should have thrown there, was the Virginia Thomas Scholarship. That has fallen on me. I used to go in the board president every year, and I've just been doing it for the last, ever since Nancy left, whenever that was. So this could be a good transition year for someone else to take that scholarship. I'm happy to work with them, but it would be good for someone else to get involved there.
that needs to be a board member, is that correct?
Yes.
Just one, could be a committee.
There needs to be just one person. Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably more appropriate because right now I'm on the trust. So I don't know if that's worded right.
I didn't know how it worked. Do other people help you?
No. That's why I'm asking for this to be handed off to someone else because I'm not sure I'm going to have the time to devote to it
So
fully.
historically, how do the bylaws read in that
It's
scholarship?
Yeah, so you have to be a resident of the district and a full-time student and apply and turn in your stuff by the time the deadline hits.
I'm saying as far as who is administering the
The
scholarship.
scholarship was left to the Board of Education, so there's a point person on the scholarship that handles all the, I guess, the management of the scholarship, issuing it, like I issue all the payments and do all those sort of things. The establishment of the scholarship amounts is usually done by committee.
Okay, so you do have a committee that,
To approve, yeah, generally I'll put everything together in a spreadsheet, verify that everybody's been approved. We'll put together a committee and we'll meet in the next probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, probably 2 weeks. And then I'll usually have recommendations on the amount that we would pay at the levels we pay them, and then that gets approved and we make adjustments from there.
okay. I've served on other boards, scholarship committees, so I wasn't sure how this one worked.
We've traditionally used 3 different levels of scholarships. So the first 2 get the most money. I mean, a student graduating this year going to a 4-year college is going to get the most at the highest threshold. The someone going to a 2-year school would get the second highest, and then alumni can come back for 5 years and they usually get the third.
Okay.
So those are the 3 tiers that we look at. We've done really well from an investment standpoint. We've had more over the last several years. So last year we handed out more money, I think, than we ever have. So it just kind of depends on how many kids apply and what type of school they're going to matter how much money each person goes to. So,
Well, any other scholarship would have served on though, there's a committee of say 5 to 7.
That read the applications.
Yes, that go through the applications
That's
and then,
that is true. That's during the approved process. But you know, after those are done, then someone has to administer the checks.
Sure.
And do that. That's been the point person that I'm talking about now. That's been me for the last several years.
So is that volunteering?
as long as there's a committee to support it. I don't want to do it all by myself.
I'm happy to do I'm happy to do that this year. Like as far as, but I take all the information on all the applications and put it in one spreadsheet, so we don't go through all the applications manually. So we'll go through and look at it on a spreadsheet. I'm happy to do all that stuff this year and kind of work with whoever's going to take it over and let them issue the payments as we get into the fall. And work with Lawrence as far as approving movements, investments, and all those sort of things.
Sure.
Which usually, just say, yeah, the expert do that.
And there's nothing in the bylaws that says that there's any type of conflict if you're serving on other scholarship
Not that I'm
boards.
I don't know anything in bylaws that say that.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that would be the only thing that would prevent me because I'm on 2 other scholarship committees, boards.
Just need somebody to do that, to take me over and at least help me this year on that. I just don't have the time right now.
Come on, Bob, throw her on the bus.
Does this need to be a
I don't know if it doesn't necessarily have to be a nomination. I just need somebody to kind of step up and help. with
Sounds
that.
like she just did.
That's the way I.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing that prevents me is if there's anything in the bylaws that says you're not supposed to serve on multiple committees that are awarding scholarships to graduates.
Those bylaws go back. I don't know how long that scholarships existed, but I'm not aware of any sort of conflict there.
It was like my senior year in 2000. Place.
We gave out scholarships.
Okay, so have we resolved that?
She volunteered.
Okay. I think the first person who talks always gets it, right?
Yeah, sure. She asked all the hard questions, so.
So the board is reorganized as of now, it's going to have to go past the president.
Or throw the gavel at.
Derek has the.
You gotta move your chair now.
Oh, do we have to? He's already got that one, but.
Good to go. Go for
You
it.
gotta at least have,
I can talk from here.
Oh, you guys do?
you gotta at least have the gavel.
All right, looks like we're ready for administrative reports. Dr. Wolf?
Yes. First, of course, we would like to welcome back Amanda and welcome Shelley and Bob to our illustrious group. We're glad to have you and hope that you find that it's something fulfilling and worthwhile for you. Most of the items on our music district walkthrough list that I inherited, that walkthrough was August the 4th. I'm happy to report that most of those items have now been completed. The most recent completions were that we were able to have all of the vinyl weight benches reupholstered, and they are now back and installed. And then if you've noticed the entrance to the high school, there are now parking stops so that it protects the sidewalk where pedestrians might be from a car driving along. So that's our most recent, and that pretty much closes our list with possibly the exception of a cabinet for chemicals in the high school science room.
The bleachers are all done, yeah.
The bleachers are done, the elementary bleachers.
Yeah.
As you may have noticed, driving by, the renovation to the football field is well underway. Most of the sod is down on the actual playing field. We are trying to get a determination for the height of the goalposts to see if Surecoat and Sedalia can house them in order to powder coat them. And we'd like to get that painting done prior to, obviously, to the new season, but while things are kind of under construction anyway. So that's our next project for that. And we were also pleased to learn that the California Eagles Club made a donation to our archery team to help with their expenses to go to nationals. So we are very appreciative of that donation. And that concludes my report.
How much are they looking at to powder coat that?
He's waiting on us to give him measurements before he can tell us that. And I think what we're gonna have to do for measurements, because really it's not safe unless we've got a bucket truck or something to get actual, but Shannon is researching what typical high school football goal measurements are, and we're gonna see if that will work for them. I think their highest bay is 25 feet tall. So it might be, I'm not sure. I don't know anything about the height of
It's
goalposts.
taller.
Goalposts are taller than that.
Ours is, because it's 10 foot just to the bar. And it's definitely more than 15. I would
That
say it's
piece
30.
comes off now.
It comes apart, I've been told.
Yeah, the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how tall each side would be, 20 feet maybe?
I would think they would fit the 25 if you took the sides off.
I'd be interested in the cost, because last year, when we painted them, I looked at what new ones were. So if we're anywhere close to $10,000, we just
Oh,
get new
holy
ones.
moly,
I hope it's not that expensive,
Powder coat is
because
expensive.
they look pretty good as they are. They're shifted, but if those bolts are really old, we could put in new bolts too and retighten that all up. That's why it looks
cockeyed right now.
yeah. If we had wind twist one of those, it would mean that we would also have bleachers that were twisted, I would think.
Yeah, there would have been damage elsewhere.
I think it's just in the tightening of those joints. There's several bolts in there that hold all the pieces together.
I will get an estimate before we do anything.
We could probably use the money elsewhere is what I'm throwing down.
So do you want to just repaint them as is and dispense with powder coating?
No, I was interested to see what the cost would be.
Okay, all right. All right. So that's the end of my report.
Any other questions? High school.
Okay. Bridget, feel free to chime in if I forget anything. It's a really busy time of the year for middle school, high school. We have a lot of activities going on right now with FBLA, DECA, and FFA. FFA is at state currently, and they will be for the rest of this week. FBLA just got back. DECA was gone last week. All spring sports are in full swing with junior high and high school. So very busy time of the year for kids. We're also starting tomorrow morning with our first map test. And you'll see Bridget and I out there, hopefully as long as it's not pouring down rain. We'll be out there cooking bacon and pancakes for our kids. We always cook their breakfast on the first day of 7th grade, first day of 6th grade, first day of 8th grade map testing. So we'll cook their breakfast tomorrow for our 7th graders. And then Friday will be the first test for the 8th grade, and we'll cook their breakfast. And then we will start EOCs the week after that. As far as map testing, it'll go for the next several weeks. We have 8th grade who has to test in science, math, and English, and then we have our 6th and 7th to test in math and ELA. So A lot of tests to get in there. EOCs will begin next week, like I said. As far as next Wednesday, we will have Mo Bio come in from University of Missouri, and they'll set up stations, and we'll have all of our science classes come out there for that demonstration. They show them different opportunities in career field of science. They'll be there on Wednesday, so if you see a big trailer parked out there, and they have a lot on Wednesday, that's Mo Bio. One of the things they bring in is a big drone, so they'll also have the big spray drone over by the football field. It is not spraying chemicals, so don't worry, there's no chemicals being sprayed. It's just a demonstration of that. And that'll be next Wednesday. Credit recovery stuff's starting to be sent out to any of the students that we have concerns with possibly not passing. Maps for middle school, I've worked with Miss Jeffcoat and Miss Ashley over the last month, really trying to focus our win time on students that we have are kind of on that bubble of being proficient or below basic or basic, and making sure we shore those up if they have any standards they missed throughout the year or last year, that we make sure we kind of prop them up a little bit before map testing starts. So we've really been working hard with our middle school kids to make sure they're ready to go for map testing. It's also hiring season, so our week this week's been very full of interviews. So throughout the course of normal business, we've had a lot of interviews over the last couple of weeks to keep us busy. Attendance is going pretty good. Comparing it year in, year out, our attendance is still staying strong. And yeah, I think that's all I got for now. Anything?
Just the only thing I would add is that we did give the work keys assessment to our senior students today that were there. We had some golfers, Dawn and a couple FFA kids, so we'll catch them later, about 5 of them. It's just a career readiness assessment that we've always been given a grant for in the past, and we did not receive a grant for it this year, but it's pretty important for our APR, so we went ahead and we had it in our budget. We got it approved through Dr. Wolf, and it's in our budget to be able to pay for it. It's a good tool for kids, helps our school, helps our kids. They get rewarded by getting a medal at graduation, so they usually get excited about that once they see it. They don't care today, but there were some good scores. We got them back immediately. We usually wait on them when we have the grant, so we already know where the kids scored, and we have a spreadsheet of all the scores, and we were able to move several kids up, so that's good news for us. There's lots of kids that scored pretty well on that, so that was a good thing. And then Jason and I met with Dr. Wolf this morning, mid-morning, to talk about some things, and one of those was the summer workers. So I did send that email out today too. I only sent it through 9th through 12th grade. Wanted to see what we got there before we added in any of the 8th grade coming, incoming high schoolers. So we're gonna see what we get there. But the email was sent to all students through Teacheries on 9th through 12th today. That's it.
Jason, on your hiring seasons, it look like all your, I mean, I know we can't talk about people, but do we look like we have a full staff coming back, or?
We're working in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just touching base, if we need this, the chance to see, shout out to anybody for a position if we need one. Just curious if we had. Well, of course, yeah. I just didn't know if you had any.
We had some really good hiring last month that put us in, or in the special board meeting, that put us in a much better position, that we were able to get all 3 of those locked down in contract. So that put us in a much better position.
Okay.
Any other questions? Elementary school report.
So touching base on preschool, we have it full. We have 20 students currently enrolled and 2 students on wait list. So if any of those specific kids change their mind, then 20 is the cap at this point. There's no more after that. PTO this week gave our school a $1,500 grant. So Miss Edwards has been busy buying all the things that she'd like to buy to fill up that classroom for preschool. So we got everything ready. The curriculum's been purchased. We'll be ready to roll in August. Last month, the 3rd grade class, we took 3rd through 6th grade class to the Central 8 Knowledge Bowl at Lincoln University. 3rd grade brought home 3rd place, and 5th grade went into extra questions and nearly missed 3rd place. So The year before was our last year, and our students did great and had fun. But this year we were able to bring home some medals, so they had a lot of good time. We've had Donuts with Dad in the building. We've had Glow Dad. Title I night was busy. Mrs. Simon and Mrs. Crane did a great job hosting that. We have summer school planning going on. I was a little discouraged earlier in the week and was sending out some emails about making sure we had students signed up. We started with like 80 and we're up to 125 today. So I feel a little bit better that I put a deadline on it. After April 24th, there's no more signing up because I need to make sure I staff people and have it ready. So we've got some theme ideas going for that. Map testing will start for us on Tuesday. Monday, during our PD day, we have kindergarten screening in the building, and we have 30 students signed up right now. There's always some other floaters out there, so not sure what class sizes will look like for next year. Kindergarten screening, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We started this week because sometimes in spring gets a little busy in attendance for us. We have grade level attendance incidents going on, so each grade level is competing against the other for attendance, and we'll get extra recess on Friday at 2:45. So we'll find out Friday who's the winner. That's all I have. Oh, another thing, I do have office referral, just kind of where we're at in the year. We're up a little bit. The winter was a little wild, but as of the end of March, we were at 51 office referrals for the end of the year, or for right now.
Any questions? Dr. Hanson?
Okay, I started my March recap with, again, current special education count. We're kind of holding steady at 107 with 2504s. I am getting a little bit more of requests. I think some part of it is final grades are starting to come out, conversations about credit recovery, things like that. So then we do get a little uptick in parent referrals, some of those things. So, but we do have the entire year's worth of information to kind of view those, review that, and make determination if we proceed or not. With evaluation meetings from March, we didn't have as many March that we finished up. Again, some of those referrals after the early childhood screening, we are setting up some of those. We are at the point where if a referral does get initiated and started, due to compliance timelines, it will not be completed by the end of the school year. That total timeline can be anywhere from 60 to 90 days. And likely that we have 20 school days left. We do fall into that we get the summer as an extension during that evaluation process. So if any are started, they will carry over into next school year. For federal programs in that update, again, this was the year of monitoring cycles. So McKinney-Vento has been completed. We had the foster care one come back, needed an ICAP, something on the website that we had to add, clean that up. The migrant one, Ms. Pettigrew and I both made sure that one was done and completed. Parents as teachers, the two parent educators are working on their shadowing expectations. Once they've completed a shadowing with a other parent educator in a different school district, they can start doing those referrals. They're going to start with our screening to create a new roster of parents who need some PAT services. And then our special education tiered monitoring is probably the largest one, and we're on phase 2. We had, out of the 15 required files that we had to turn in, like of students that met their request, only 4 specific items came back that I had to turn in additional information. So 4 specific kiddos on what specifically their request was, that if it's an initial or a certain caveat that they requested. The next part, the phase 3, will be timeline specific. So part C to B, so a first step transition timeline that moves into a regular special education eval. We have to let them know, did the timeline meet compliance, and every day and deadline be met. So we have to put those timelines in, and then those part B transition timelines as well. Did I start the process appropriately, follow all the components? Did I end that within that 60-day, 90-day frame? And then do we hold that IEP if necessary within 30 days? Update on events. We will have some special education staff assisting Ms. Pettigrew with the kindergarten roundup on Monday. And then we are looking at different summer professional development. There is an annual paraprofessional one that occurs at Sedalia. I think Dr. Dill originally had formulated that one a long time ago. And so we do encourage those paraprofessionals to go because the majority of our paraprofessionals are in the special education realm, and so that's good training for them. As well as looking at some more reading potential training. I think they did Wilson reading last summer under Miss Nancy, and we would like to maybe track down another one similar so we can keep that literacy training going for special education teachers. The last thing I've got is the newest contract for KBC Academy. That is our contracted private separate placement. You guys, there was a letter attached along with a copy of the contract that I need you guys to look at and someone to potentially sign. Approving that contract, all it basically states is their rates are going up. The contract starts from August 1st to July 31st. Page 3 of the contract mentions the different rate changes. So currently right now is $185 per day per kid, and whether they attend or not. So if they're, for the month of March, if there's 20 days and they are absent 10, we still have to pay for all 20 days, whether they show up or not. So it's been $185. Next year it will go to $190. So a $5 increase. Same thing with any speech, language, or occupational therapy services. It was currently at $95 an hour and is now going to $99 an hour. I would recommend approving that contract. I'm not worried about the $5 or $4 per hour rate increase, but we do have several students who attend that location.
That's further down on our agenda, but if you want to ask for a motion on that, we can go ahead and take care of it.
Or you can think about it and we can wait till the end when it comes up.
Y'all want a minute to think on it? Something we gotta have, right?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to accept the contract.
Second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Was that it?
Yes, that was it for me.
All right, thank you. Guess that brings us to new business.
I included in your packet the invitation to bid that was sent out for depository bids, banking service. And then I have included the responses from each bank, BTC Bank and Commerce Bank, under each item. So you can see for yourself that they're, for the most part, they agreed to everything in the same manner. The two places where they differ is with the interest rate. One bank bid 20 basis points below the Treasury bill rate. The other bank bid 1.1 basis points below the Treasury bill rate. The 20 basis points below had a ceiling and a floor. The 1.1 basis points had no ceiling and no floor. And then the other difference was on positive pay. One bank charges $75 a month and the other bank agrees to provide that service for free. So I'll need to know, have a motion on which should be our depository. This bid is good for 3 years, and then we have the ability to extend it 2 more years before we're required legally to rebid it. So it could be from 3 to 5 years with whichever bank you all vote for. If nobody's asked me, but if you were to ask me, I would say in my other settings, I have based my decision primarily on all the services that are being provided, which is equal in this point, and on the interest rate. And in this case, BTC Bank has a more favorable interest rate than Commerce.
Anybody have any comments?
No, I'll make a motion to accept the bid for BTC Bank.
motion by Bo, second by Bob. All those in favor? I'm personally gonna abstain.
I think you need to.
I did wanna bring up though, while we're on that subject, did you get the debit card or the
Yes,
NASCAR card? And that isn't,
And
Get that
that's,
or
did I not include that? I meant to include it.
I
I'm
didn't know if that
sorry.
needed to be approved or not, but they have mascot cards, so we'll have a cardinal on them anytime we use it, you get 7 cents swag to go to school. I know this last year they gave $12,000 to the Albany school for all the swipes that they got, so.
So that's an additional service that would be available to the district.
And that didn't, they would've done that regardless of who you went with, they would've done that program, so.
I think that would be a separate thing.
Yeah, maybe, I just wanna make sure.
That's almost like accepting a donation, wouldn't it be? But they would use our logo.
Yeah, it would be the logo on the card.
So on that one, it was 5-0, me and Amanda abstained.
And something else on that card, just because I seen it the other day, that doesn't cost your customer anything, it's just a straight donation
So
from
every time you
PTC.
swipe it, it's 7 cents goes directly to the school.
Yeah.
And we'll do it for St. Andrews too, that's in the community, for the parks for to make them, so.
All right, next up is salary schedule for classified staff.
Yes, included in your packet is the recommended classified salary schedule. And what that salary schedule reflects is a 1% raise. There are some 260-day employees that I'm recommending, we have 4 of them, I'm recommending that we come in compliance with Fair Labor Standards Act and have that become 250 days. In order to make that adjustment in the salary schedule, we've moved Lisa and Amy down some steps. And then I'm recommending our maintenance director receive the same raise that we gave our other administrators.
Anyone have any comments? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make motion to approve the salary schedule for classified staff.
Go say it.
Got Amanda did the motion, Bo seconded. All in favor? 7-0. All right, we have a salary schedule for our
Speech and language.
language pathology.
Due to a change in DESI certification rules, they now consider SLP as a classified position. So we're basically taking the SLP salary that was previously attached to a certified schedule, and we're now attaching it to the classified schedule.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the salary schedule for the SLP.
Second.
Motion by Bo, second by Derek. All in favor? 7-0. All right, next up is the comprehensive literacy plan, I believe. Was that Jason and Ashley?
So over the course of the last year, we have been working on creating a literacy plan to be in compliance with DESI's requirements. And we, was it last month, attended a training. There's been a series of them. The most recent was in March. Roxanne has attended with us as well. And so we started with surveying our staff and finding out what the needs we felt like were as far as literacy in our district. We took their feedback, formed a committee, and then created goals for our district. So we felt like the most manageable way to handle this was to create an elementary and middle school and then a high school goal, so we all kind of knew exactly what we were working on. So I'll touch base on what the elementary looks like, and then Jason will speak about his building. We, in the elementary, we're viewing this as putting it into place now, but this will be for next school year. So from the beginning of the year to the end, what is our goal and where do we want to be? So by the spring of 2027, we plan to increase our benchmark or increase the number of students meeting or exceeding grade level literacy benchmarks by 10 to 15%. So that will look at our beginning of the year data and our end of the year data from iReady, because that's a diagnostic assessment that we use with all students. Some ways we plan on going about that will be bi-weekly data meetings. I already meet with my staff every other week, but I feel like they're missing some of the data part of that, and so that will be incorporated into our meetings. Our students, teachers already use small group instruction. Mrs. Lawson and I have been working on the schedule for next year, and we've kind of found an interesting way that we can use our title department in literacy to enhance our instruction already. So that'll be a part of it. And then continuing with our interventions with students through win time. So that is our goal for the 26-27 school year.
Okay, middle school and high school, it's very similar to what she just talked about with using iReady on the middle school level. Ours, a little bit different as far as scheduling goes. Our teachers have 7 periods, so the kids aren't in there all day long and going to specials, so they don't have as much time with each group of kids. So our targeted time that we have the chance to take advantage of is just during WIN and then during their own class time. So we'll continue to use WIN, which we started this year. Really, the second semester, we started using WIN for targeted interventions with kids that are kind of on that edge of teetering between basic and proficient. We'll continue to use that next year, but we'll use it throughout the entire year. So if they test in the beginning of the year and we have some kids that are maybe basic or below basic or even barely proficient in certain areas that they tested in certain strands, then those teachers will start using that WIN time to pull those groups of kids so they can get those kids propped up at the beginning of the year as they do those strands. So instead of trying to just do it all towards the middle or last 2 months of the year, it'll be just done monthly throughout the year. And then we can adjust those WIN schedules for those kids as the year goes, which we started to do this year quite a bit already. It just takes a little bit of time for moving kids around on the schedules. But again, it's not that difficult. So our goals, like she discussed, was 10 to 15% based off the diagnostic at the beginning of the year, which again will show up on the math test. With high school, it's slightly different because they go from 9th grade to 10th grade without testing. So we'll use a combination of their 8th grade math and then also iReady diagnostics from their 9th grade year to kind of set those targets whenever they get to 10th grade. But 10% increase from where they were at in middle school to high school, year in, year out with your sophomore EOCs, it's really hard because you have one group, one grade. And for example, like last year, our EOCs were in the 70s with the English. So if you set your mark at 10%, it might be unattainable because getting to the 80s would be very difficult. So it's based off of where they were at when they last tested as 8th grade. But that's where we're middle school and high school.
And I believe the full document was included, maybe, yes, so you guys have that, but this was just kind of an overview of what all was included.
This is one of our essential components for our CSIP plan. And so it will need board approval, and then we'll have it in our CSIP documentation for next year.
Dr. Hansen did a great job finding the outline on how to do this. It was a training she went to and somebody she connected with, so it's very helpful to kind of piece it together.
It was very lengthy. I assume, there's certain things that you all chose on each area. You all had a committee for all that, go through.
We had a committee, they all had access to that document, and we were able to get in there and.
It was long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's
So like a
reviewed
motion
every year too.
to approve the.
You can change it every year to make it
Literacy
meet your
plan?
needs.
Yeah, thank you.
Motion by Bo, second by Amanda. All in favor? 7-0.
All right, I'll make a motion to move us in executive
section following 610.021 for 3 and 13 to include Mr. Jason Culpepper, Miss Bridget Mission, Miss Ashley Pettigrew, and Dr. Sarah Hanson, and Coach Dean,
And Nathan.
and Nathan. It's whoever makes it.
Do you have a second?
One second.
Second by Bo. Amanda? Bob?
Yeah,
Bo?
yes.
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 I'm a yes. 7-0. Thank you all.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your hard work.